from now, and you can hit file. I'm not going to do that because I'm not actually doing the flight. I don't want to gum up the system. But it'll drop that directly into the system, and you'll get a message saying, hey, your flight plan is ready to go. So that's the flights tab, and I can use that. Now, this sort of saves the flight too. I can sit over here. I was planning on doing a flight yesterday up to Columbus, and so that's still in my flight plan here. And so I can go up here to the send button, and I can send it to my map, and it pulls up that same flight from yesterday. So it is a way you can kind of save the flights there. It's a nice way to do that as well. And as you go, you can see when it's actually filed, it turns green. So like on this flight here, it's filed. If one that's not filed, it's not going to say filed. And then it's going to be red for IFR, green for VFR, just like here. All right. So that's kind of the basics of using ForeFlight. To wrap it up, I'd just say stick with the maps page here. You can get to most everything on the maps section just by tapping something you want to know more about. So if you want to know more about CERC, tap on it, and then you can go through info, forecast, winds, FBOs. You can bring up full screen to go to the actual CERC page, pull up the airfield diagram, look at the procedures for the actual airport, departure, arrival, and approaches. You can look up frequencies for all that, and then you just go back to your maps. So really just sticking on this maps page, you can get into 90% of the stuff you need to. Now on the plates page, I will show you one thing on the plates. Is I've organized my plates into binders, and so I've made a binder for the airports that I go to most often, and I've loaded that binder with all the approaches that I use at those airfields most often. I'll show you something that is nice here. You go to like ForeLeft. Yeah, ForeLeft has some NOTAMs. So notice up here at the top, I've got 2 NOTAMs. So I can just tap on the view 2 NOTAMs, and it tells me, hey, the ForeLeft is out of service. Doofus, you can't fly it. So that's kind of a nice feature. Anyway, the binders will stay there even when you update ForeFlight, when you update to a new version of ForeFlight, or if you update your pubs with a new release, it's going to keep the binders in place. It'll also keep all of your drawings in place there on the approach plate as well. Alright, so yeah, organize those in the plates. Your documents section, I've kind of organized my documents as well, as far as I've got, training documents versus my ACS versus PSIS, some of my civilian flying, and then like just all the documents with the AP1B, general planning, all that, and it works similar to ForeFlight. For the imagery, honestly, don't use the imagery a ton, but sure, you're connected, you can use it to look at the radar. That's kind of what I have it set on, is I'll just pull up the looping radar in pre-brief there, and you can pull that out. But probably the weather stuff you have on your phone is just as good as these. You can access prod charts, all that. So yeah, it's useful. And then Scratchpad, kind of useful, honestly. Like writing with a pencil and piece of paper is still usually a little more useful than just trying to pull up a scratch pad, but you can get some stuff in there. It looks like you're a 3rd grader is the only thing. And you can also, make a scratch pad for the ATIS if you really wanted to go fancy like that. Anyway, whatever you want to do. On the More tab, there's a lot you can do with this program as far as your logbook. You can even do checklists in here. So let's say I've got a Cirrus FLI, I can go through and say, hey, I want to do the pre-flight checklist, and it'll actually go through and do this whole checklist. Yep. Got it all done, going through my checklist. And then I picked the longest checklist ever. Sorry. You go through and it'll say, "Oh, I'm tired of this checklist." Okay, fine. And then it'll go before starting. Okay, before starting engine. Yep, got it. Next checklist. All right, pre-flight. Let's do all that. You get the picture. You could build a custom checklist for the C-130 if you wanted to. Yeah. Weight and balance, kind of neat. Loadmasters, I think format is probably more appropriate. But it's there, your user content. This is where your custom waypoints are going to be. I will show you how to do this real quick. Let's say you wanted to add a custom waypoint. You're going to want to give it a name, for instance, S32 Bravo, and then to look right there, it says or map style location latitude. So if you're going to do the FKN 320 at 15, that's going to go in the latitude field. So you're basically going to put in a name, a description if you want, and then in latitude you'll put in the, LRF 320 at 20. Let's say that's a point. I'm just making that up. But so you're going to name that point, give it a LRF, radial DME, and it'll build that point in there for you. I have all the points that Greg created plus the ones that I created, so I got a lot of points in there. I also have no map layers loaded, but we can push that out to you through iTunes, or you can download it through your email, and then the user charts as well. The way you display those is you go to your map section, and you can show user waypoints. So there's all my user waypoints. Interestingly enough, like J would, notice how it's gray. So let me show you this real quick. Let's say we're going from KLRF to J-Wood. Alright, the J-Wood is gray, but J-Wood's actually a point. So if I tap near J-Wood and just move this, it says, hey, you got nearby points. You got a user waypoint called J-Wood and an actual waypoint called J-Wood. So notice up here J-Wood is gray. If I click on this one, now it turns to purple. So light purple is an actual nav database point, and light gray is going to be user waypoint. So this is something useful to remember. Anyway, there's more stuff you can do with the program. Just thought I'd give you all a brief overview, and please let me know if you have any questions.